Hey everyone! Welcome back to Usof Reacts. I am Jane and today, we're diving into one of the standout films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. If you love action-packed espionage thrillers with a superhero twist, then this movie is a must-watch. Let's get into it. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, released in 2014, is the second solo outing for Steve Rogers, also known as Captain America. Directed by the Russo brothers, this film not only expands the MCU, but also changes the game with its intense action sequences and deep, engaging plot. So, let's break it down. First, let's talk about the plot. The story picks up with Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, adapting to the modern world after being frozen for decades. He's now working with Shield, and trying to find his place in a society that's vastly different from the one he knew. But things quickly take a dark turn when Shield is compromised from within. Enter the mysterious and deadly Winter Soldier, played by Sebastian Stan. The film masterfully blends elements of a political thriller with superhero action, as Steve uncovers a conspiracy that threatens global security. One of the film's biggest strengths is its characters. Scarlett Johansson returns as Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, and her chemistry with Captain America is fantastic. We also see the introduction of Sam Wilson, the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, who quickly becomes a fan favorite. And let's not forget Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson. Fury has some of the most intense scenes in the movie, including a high-stakes car chase that showcases the film's top-notch action choreography. The action sequences in The Winter Soldier are some of the best in the MCU. From hand-to-hand combat to large-scale battles, the Russo brothers deliver edge-of-your-seat moments that keep you hooked from start to finish. But beyond the action, The Winter Soldier is also a story about trust and betrayal. Steve Rogers faces moral dilemmas and questions the very institutions he's sworn to protect. The film's themes resonate on a deeper level, making it more than just a superhero flick. The cinematography and special effects are top-notch, but what really stands out is the film's pacing and tone. It's a darker, more mature entry in the MCU, and it paved the way for future films to explore more complex narratives. In conclusion, Captain America, the Winter Soldier is a thrilling ride that combines the best elements of action, espionage, and character development. It's a film that not only stands out in the MCU but also holds up as a fantastic movie in its own right. As Steve Rogers struggles to embrace his role in the modern world, he teams up with a fellow Avenger and Shield agent, Black Widow, to battle a new threat from history, an assassin known as the Winter Soldier. For Steve Rogers, awakening after decades of suspended animation involves more than catching up on pop culture. It also means that this old-school idealist must face a world of subtler threats and difficult moral complexities. That becomes clear when director Nick Fury is killed by the mysterious assassin, the Winter Soldier. But not before warning Rogers that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been subverted by its enemies. When Rogers acts on Fury's warning to trust no one there, he is branded as a traitor by the organization. Now a fugitive, Captain America must get to the bottom of this deadly mystery with the help of the Black Widow and his new friend, the Falcon. However, the battle will be costly for the Sentinel of Liberty, with Rogers finding enemies where he least expects them while learning that the Winter Soldier looks disturbingly familiar. Steve Rogers is coming to grips with living in modern America after being frozen in ice for 70 years. A new threat against S.H.I.E.L.D. rises called the Winter Soldier. While the origins of the Winter Soldier are unknown, the threat against S.H.I.E.L.D. from the Hydra organization is, especially after it compromises Nick Fury and Agent Romanoff, leaving them betrayed and left for dead, and their S.H.I.E.L.D. status revoked, marking them as traitors to the organization. Now racing against time with very little resources available at his disposal, Captain America launches an investigation into S.H.I.E.L.D. origins, and that has him returning to the very army base where he once underwent basic training nearly 100 years ago. What he and Romanoff discover there leads to a very startling development with S. Hirold, a top-secret project called Operation Insight, and the launch of the next generation of helicarrier. Can they stop it before it's too late? Steve Rogers, finding it easier to acclimate to the modern society as a soldier of S.H.I.E.L.D., learns that the organization has been compromised and a Soviet assassin known as the Winter Soldier will stop at nothing to kill Captain America, which leads him uncover a truth that will change everything. 2 years after the alien attack on New York, Steve Rogers starts to adjust to the modern world and works as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. However, Steve disagrees with the rules of today as he faces a world of threats and complexities. When director Nick Fury is killed by a mysterious assassin called the Winter Soldier, Steve is warned not to trust anyone, only to find himself being framed for not sharing information. On the run, Rogers launches an investigation into a deadly conspiracy which reveals that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been infiltrated by his old arch-nemesis Hydra, who have been hiding in plain sight. With only Black Widow and Falcon as backup, Rogers must once again suit up and defeat Hydra from launching their ultimate weapon before it's too late. 2 years after the Battle of New York, Steve Rogers' Chris Evans works in Washington, D.C. for the espionage agency S. Hirold, under director Nick Fury Samuel Jackson, while adjusting to contemporary society. Rogers and agent Natasha Romanoff Scarlett Johansson are sent with S. Hirold as Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement and Logistics Division Counterterrorism S. Tarika, Special Tactical Reserve for International Key Emergencies Team. Led by Agent Rumlow Frank Grillo, to free hostages aboard a S. Hirold vessel from Georges Batrick Georges Street Pierre and his mercenaries. Jasper Sitwell is the captain of the S. Hirold ship. Mid-mission, Rogers discovers Romanoff has another agenda, to extract data from the ship's computers for Fury. Georges escapes while Steve discovers what Romanoff is up to. Rogers returns to the Triskelion S. Hirold's headquarters to confront Fury and is briefed about Project Insight. 3 helicarriers linked to spy satellites, designed to preemptively eliminate threats. Rogers is not convinced and says that holding a gun on everyone on Earth cannot be called protection. He argues that the punishment should come after trial, and Project Insight is judge, jury and executioner all in one. Rogers says that insight is not freedom, but fear. Unable to decrypt the data recovered by Romanoff, Fury becomes suspicious about Insight and asks Senior S. Hirold official Alexander Pierce Robert Redford to delay the project. Rogers meets Peggy Carter Haley, a 12, who is now an old woman, and has had a full life with a husband and a family. Rogers meets Sam Wilson while doing his morning run, and befriends him. Sam works at the local VA center. On his way to rendezvous with Maria Hill Cobby Smulders, Fury is ambushed by assailants led by a mysterious assassin called the Winter Soldier Sebastian Stan. Fury escapes to Rogers' apartment and warns Rogers that S. Hirold is compromised after handing Rogers a flash drive containing data from the ship. Fury is gunned down by the Winter Soldier through the window of Rogers' apartment. Rogers pursues the Winter Soldier, but he gets away before Rogers can have a good look at him. Fury dies in surgery, and Hill recovers the body. The next day, Pierce summons Rogers to the Triskelion. Pierce insinuates that Fury was the one who was controlling the pirates led by George Batrick for the stealing and sale of classified information. The sale went sour and that led to the attack and death of Fury. Pierce wants Rogers to hand over anything that Fury shared with him. When Rogers withholds Fury's information, Pierce brands him a fugitive. Rogers manages to escape from Rumlow and his team, who are revealed to be working for Pierce. Hunted by Stririka, Rogers meets with Romanoff. Romanoff knew that Rogers had hidden the flash drive in a vending machine, and initially they both did not trust each other. Romanoff and Rogers realize that they are both looking for the person behind Fury's death. Using data in the flash drive, they discover a secret high-rolled bunker in New Jersey, where they activate a supercomputer containing the preserved consciousness of Arnim Zola Toby Jones. Zola was a scientist who had worked for the Red Skull. He transferred his consciousness into computers in 1972 after he received a terminal diagnosis. Zola reveals that ever since Hyrule was founded after World War II, Hydra has secretly operated within its ranks, sowing global chaos with the goal that humanity would willingly surrender its freedom in exchange for security. Zola also reveals that Howard Stark and Fury were killed when they became obstacles to Hydra's plans. The pair narrowly escape death when a Hyrule missile destroys the bunker. Pierce also uses the opportunity to relaunch Project Insight, convincing the Council that Fury had delayed it as it would have exposed his own illegal activities. Pierce also engages the Winter Soldier to eliminate Rogers and Romanoff. Rogers and Romanoff enlist the help of former USOF parachute rescue specialist Sam Wilson Anthony Mackie, whom Rogers befriended, and acquire his powered Falcon wing pack, deducing that Shield agent Jasper Sitwell Maximiliano Hernandez, captain of the SHIELD vessel that was captured by pirates controlled by Fury, is a Hydra mole. They force him to divulge that Zola developed a data mining algorithm that can identify individuals who might become future threats to Hydra's plans. The algorithm has access to all possible data about an individual, including their bank records, set scores, phone calls, emails, medical records, voting records, everything. The Insight helicarriers will sweep the globe, using satellite-guided guns to eliminate these individuals. Rogers, Romanoff, and Wilson are ambushed by the Winter Soldier, who kills Sitwell. During the fight, Rogers recognizes the Winter Soldier as Bucky Barnes, his friend who was captured and experimented upon during Weed. Hill manages to extract the trio to a safe house where Fury, who had faked his death, is waiting with plans to sabotage the helicarriers by replacing their controller chips. Fury says that only by faking his own death could he ascertain exactly who was calling the shots at Hyrule. After the World Security Council members arrive for the helicarrier's launch, Rogers broadcasts Hydra's plot to everyone at the Triskelion. Romanoff, disguised as one of the council members, disarms Pierce. Fury arrives and forces Pierce to unlock Hyrule's database so that Romanoff can leak classified information, exposing Hydra's actions. Following a struggle, Fury shoots Pierce dead. Meanwhile, Rogers and Wilson storm to helicarriers and replace the controllers. But the Winter Soldier destroys Wilson's suit and fights Rogers on the third. Rogers fends him off and replaces the final chip, allowing Hill to take control and have the vessels destroy each other. Rogers refuses to fight the Winter Soldier in an attempt to reach his friend. But as the ship collides with the Triskelion, Rogers is thrown out into the Potomac River. The Winter Soldier rescues the unconscious Rogers, before disappearing into the woods. With Shield in disarray, Romanoff appears before a Senate subcommittee and Fury, under the cover of his apparent death, heads to Eastern Europe in pursuit of Hydra's remaining cells. Rogers and Wilson decide to track down the Winter Soldier, while Rumlow, who was a double agent for Hydra, is hospitalized following the Triskelion's destruction. In a mid-credits scene, Baron Wolfgang von Strucker Thomas Kretschmann, at a Hydra lab, proclaims that the Age of Miracles has begun as scientists examine an energy-filled scepter and two prisoners, one with superhuman speed, the other with telekinetic powers. In a post-credits scene, the Winter Soldier visits a Bucky memorial at the Smithsonian Institution. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more awesome content. Let us know in the comments your favorite moment from the Winter Soldier. Until next time, stay super. Feel free to modify this script to better fit your style or the specific aspects of the movie you want to highlight.